If you think you're a hero, you're crazier than I thought.
We'll agree to disagree.
Hi, welcome to Supes Podcast, a podcast where we talk about the super family and all forms of media. Tonight we're going to be discussing Supergirl, Season 2, Episode 7. But before we get started, John has some exciting news.
Very exciting. We have an official contest. It's a giveaway, and what we're giving away is a copy of Supergirl Season 1 on Blu-ray. Now, you may be asking, how do I win this exciting prize?
I wasn't asking that because I already know.
Well, with that attitude, you're automatically disqualified from the contest.
Dang
but
it.
our awesome listeners have a chance to win this fabulous prize, and it's very easy. All you have to do to enter is simply rate and review us on iTunes. Look up Supes on Podcast, rate and review us. You can rate and review any particular episode, I suppose. Let's limit it to just Darkest Places.
Yes, that's the episode we'll be talking about tonight.
Make it easy on you. That's what we like, this easy contest. Once again, all you have to do, go onto iTunes, look up Darkest Places, the latest and newest review from Supes on Podcast of Supergirl, rate and review us, and in your comment, please leave an email address so we can have some contact information for you. And once we have whoever has rated and reviewed, we hope it's a lot of you, we will randomly select whoever the winner is. And after we randomly select whoever the winner is, we will ship you that awesome copy of Supergirl Season 1 on Blu-ray.
And do remember that when you're leaving that email address in the comment, it is visible to others. So if you don't want other people to see your email, feel free to create one just for this contest for Gmail, Yahoo, all of them let you create free email addresses if you don't want to give out your normal one.
That's right. Once again, all you have to do is go to iTunes, rate and review Darkest Places, the latest review of Supergirl by Supes on Podcast.
All right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and get started. Season 2, Episode 7, Darkest Places. This is an Insta-Take reaction. The episode just ended about 10 minutes ago.
Central Standard Time, for whatever that matters, and it doesn't.
That's correct.
I'll tell you what does matter. Spoilers. We will be spoiling this episode and potentially everything that has to do with Superman, the CW, anything ever, so just know that going in.
That's right. So, John, it started off with one of the common sort of TV tropes of we're showing you something from the ending and then flashing back 24 hours.
With a flashback within a flashback.
And then we saw a flashback from within that flashback of James Olsen taking down 3 guys at once with Wynn's help.
Got a little confusing because at one point we're like, why is Hank Henshaw attacking Scara? We haven't seen that yet.
That's
okay.
Right. Okay, so he wasn't... Okay, it's a flashback within a flashback.
I mean, we're amateur Superman and super family experts, but come on, I don't...
I thought it was a very strong start. I did like the sort of, hey, throwing you off your pace. They already showed the scene of Hank beating down on Supergirl in the trailer, so we knew it was coming. And then doing the whole 24-hour flashback. I normally enjoy those episodes. I realize they are kind of overdone, but I always enjoy them.
I mean, this isn't the first time we've seen tropes from Supergirl, and it's certainly allowed.
Oh, yeah.
Like last week, I believe we saw one of my pet peeve when it comes to tropes is the stupid kid looking death right in the face and doing nothing.
Yeah, we did see that one last week. It's fine. It's forgivable. And this week we started with them. We got a couple of scenes in this episode that just make me long for my dream episode. It started off with everybody just kind of hanging out in the bar.
Yeah.
And then bookend that with the show ending with everybody hanging out at Kara's apartment. I just want an episode of them hanging out. With there being no supervillain, no anything. I just want a 44 to 46 minute episode of them hanging out and having fun.
Just one episode.
Just one episode. We can get Alex, get Lena, and invite Lena Luthor over to hang out too. Then you have a multimillionaire hanging out in this apartment, just like, oh, this is how the 99% live.
Quick note, IMDb listed Lena Luthor, not in this episode.
Well, she was mentioned.
She was mentioned, so there you go. I don't know if the actress who plays her gets money for that. I don't know.
I have no idea, but it would just be so fun. Just have Jimmy, have Jimmy win. Maybe we can even have who else is in the age range that would make sense to be hanging out. McGann,
yeah.
Maybe it can even be a crossover, and Barry's just there hanging out.
Why not? Just have Barry and Cisco, all the gang at Star Labs, fight Cadmus Labs.
I don't know. They have a hard time getting over to Barry. Barry can easily get over. We could have the Legends. We could have Sarah Lance, and
Heat Wave would be fun.
Heat Wave hanging out with Supergirl. All of just everybody hanging out at Kara's apartment for like Thanksgiving.
See, we're gonna get this awesome crossover stuff next week.
Yes,
but we want the pre-crossover of them just chilling out,
of them just hanging out. Well, it would be a post-crossover after they've defeated everybody.
Yeah,
just scenes upon scenes of them doing nothing but hanging out and relaxing.
So before we get into the crossover stuff, this week's episode had a lot happening in it. A lot of noteworthy stuff.
For sure.
Like, do we want to get into the big reveal? And if this is your first time listening, first of all, welcome. And second of all, you should know we don't do a scene-by-scene breakdown. We kind of go all over the place.
We do. And I think let's get into the big reveal, but let's set it in context with our Twitter poll that showed how incredibly wrong we were.
And it wasn't just us, but we were incredibly wrong. We're admitting that right now. And if you follow us on Twitter, it's at Supes on Podcast. Same at Supes on Podcast on Instagram as well, for those of you who are Instagrammers. But on Twitter, the poll last week was, do you think Dean Cain will be good or evil cyborg leading Cadmus? Not if you think, or
not if you think Dean Cain will be Cyborg.
No,
nothing. We just straight up, we thought we knew Dean Cain was going to be Cyborg Superman.
And it may have been that it could have been confirmed that it was or wasn't him before. This is just what we thought at the time.
Right.
Convinced. But, so of the choices that we gave was evil from the get-go, evil robot / good Jeremiah, and not there at all.
So to be fair, the not there at all might have been people who just didn't think he was going to be Cyborg.
Yeah. I apologize if I cough. If a cough comes up on the podcast, I've been getting over a cough, but I'm super excited to do this. So let's go. Evil from the get-go got a 14%. So, all right, not a lot of people thinking that. Tied at 43% apiece is evil robot good Jeremiah and not there at all. So, small comfort to know that we were not the only people dead wrong about that. You know what? Happily wrong.
Yeah, I am very happy too. I love that they had the actual Hank Henshaw being Cyborg, which is how it was in the comics. And I love that he called himself Cyborg Superman. It was perfect.
It was hilarious because I'm like, oh, so you just consider yourself the Cyborg Superman. He could have just said, I'm Cyborg. And first of all, I can't say I'm too upset that Hank Henshaw is the Cyborg Superman.
No, not at all.
But it was funny just to think that, I don't know, at least me or us, whatever, at least some people on Twitter who follow us or saw us, whatever, that thought, there's no way. It's just not an option. Hank Henshaw can't be the Cyborg.
Right.
So it's interesting when a source material accurate thing, for the most part, is a swerve.
Yes.
Interesting to see. Welcome thing to see.
Yes.
But, excuse me, coughing. Maybe I have like a Daxamite virus or something. I don't know. But, I can't say I'm too upset about that, but it was very odd he considered himself or referred to himself as Cyborg Superman. I'm Cyborg Superman. I'm like, are you?
Right.
Don't you hate aliens? And Superman is a known alien, just like Supergirl?
Right.
So I don't know, it's just so odd. But we did see him at the fortress later on in the episode, towards the very end.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I don't know why. What's his angle here? What's his end game here? How much it's going to mirror the comic counterpart? But we'll see. It's going to be very exciting. Awesome to see the fortress.
For sure. I always like seeing that little robot.
Yeah, the little robot's cool. He reminds me of the robot from on the Power Rangers.
Yes, Alpha.
Alpha. He used to go, ay, ay, ay. I'm like, are you Italian, Mexican? I don't understand what you're supposed to be. But he does remind me of that. But this isn't a Power Rangers podcast.
That's right.
Despite our many letters and emails.
Exactly. This is not a Power Rangers podcast. So I will say this. This episode did further confirm my thoughts that the DEO is a horrible organization. Not horrible as an evil intent, but horrible as in inefficient. So, I would like to talk about some things that happened in this episode.
Okay.
One, this episode pretty much confirmed that the DEO had no idea that Wynn was manipulating resources behind the scenes and all this to set Jimmy up as the Guardian.
Yeah, there's no way Wynn just is doing this in cooperation with anyone.
The DEO. Last week, there was a little bit of, who knows?
Like maybe.
Nope. He completely went behind the scenes. They didn't realize that people were stealing resources and creating a super suit and using DEO materials to run a vigilante operation. Mm-hmm. Okay. 2, Supergirl, DEO's most prized asset, on the way to go stop the Guardian, just goes off on her own. No explanation, no anything, goes to fight Cadmus. This is at night. The next day, it's the morning, and Alex is like, I can't get hold of Kara. And John Jones is like, well, give her some time. I'm sure she's doing whatever. No, one of your prized assets just went missing. Kara is important. Go get her.
You're a telepath. Maybe say, okay, I don't like to do this, but just this once.
Yeah. I mean, really, I was just like, well, we know that wouldn't work because it always, the fact that Superman, he couldn't read Superman's mind.
Oh, that's right.
So we know that wouldn't particularly work, but
well, he could use it for something.
Yeah, be worried about your asset. Like, no one has seen Kara for 12 hours? Like,
it's just like in season 1, it was so closely and strictly monitored, everything that Supergirl was doing. Season 2, it's like, anything goes, man. We're on the CW now. DGAF.
Right. I was just amazed at that was, it just seems so inefficient.
Well, that's the DEO for you.
That is the...
Season 2 DEO.
That is the Season 2 DEO. It's like... when Alex at the end said, I should have been there, I was just like, yeah, you should have been there. When she mysteriously disappears for over 24 hours, maybe be worried.
Maybe just be slightly... Well, Alex
was worried.
Alex was worried, and she was very preoccupied with the, I don't want Maggie to... I don't know, I'm still getting over Maggie. And I will say this... Another week of strong performances.
Yeah.
From all the cast, and
yes.
Alex especially. I still don't know how to pronounce her name. Kyler.
I'm not sure. I do know, yeah, because I know last week we did point out that we thought that was a very strong performance. I think it continued this week.
It was actually still very realistic.
Yes.
As realistic as someone like me can think. I don't know, like I said last week.
Right.
Still not a lesbian.
Right.
Despite our many emails we get at supesonpodcast@gmail.com. Let's see. Did we say in the contest that people should email supesonpodcast@gmail.com?
We did. We just wanted to rate and review because that's all you have to do.
You don't have
to
to email us. We still welcome all emails. We appreciate all forms of feedback. Anyway, so yeah, I still think it's very realistic when Alex said, "I came out and it wasn't this big." Epic moment. I mean, it was an epic moment, but it was still like, I don't feel free anymore. Right. I still feel more confused even.
Yeah, I thought that was a good point. It was almost, she was like, I wasn't coming out over a concept, I was coming out over a person.
Right.
And so, yeah, so that hurt, and that would completely make sense.
Yeah, it's just, we're chugging along. I'm like, hey, this is a very, I don't know, would you say responsible presentation of this? I don't know.
Once again, as a heterosexual male, I think so, but
sure,
could be completely wrong. I will say this. I thought Alex was very strong in this episode. I thought Maggie was very strong, and I have some notes that I took during the episode to talk about. And this was the first episode that we've ever had. As you know, we get to go super strong on Wynn, Jeremy Jordan a lot of times.
We do.
But this was the first episode in a while I've had a negative note about Wynn.
Really?
And my negative note was, it showed specifically at the beginning, Jimmy driving off on his motorcycle behind Wynn in his van, driving off together. And then the next morning there's video footage of, supposedly the Guardian, Jimmy, shooting this guy. And Wynn thinks Jimmy did it at first. And I'm like,
did he really think he did it?
No, this is the thing. He was like, they have video footage. And he's like, it wasn't me. It was like, he did believe it. And then not only did he seem to believe it, as soon as Jimmy said it wasn't me, he just believed him. Which, that is very realistic, I guess. It's your friend. You don't think he did it.
Yeah.
But why would you even think he did it in the first place? Y'all drove off together.
You see, I got more from that when just being like, what are we going to do? There's video footage.
Maybe.
Like, sure, it wasn't you. But
then I did also have, like, Wynn immediately wants to quit. Like, it was sort of showing, and I don't know if they're ever going to do this with this character or not, to have him go the sort of supervillain path, but it was somewhat showing that he does have a cowardly kind of side.
yeah.
So, I don't know, they could do that.
I hope they don't go like Toyman 2 with Wynn, but
I mean, hey, if we get to season 6, maybe.
maybe. If we're so lucky to get a season 6 of Supergirl.
I did feel that overall this episode almost felt kind of like a Halloween episode.
Sort of, yeah.
It kind of had a lot of darker motifs. It's the name Darkest Places.
Darkest Places, yeah.
I did like the Hank Henshaw reveal.
That was nice. It was a welcome reveal.
For sure.
Like the Martian fight, that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool as well.
Like, so much happened in this episode, it's almost easy to forget. Like, hey, there was this cool Martian fight that happened.
Right.
Like, everybody got to do something cool, you know.
Well,
Mon-El got to have a bullet taken out of him. But
them referencing the lead poisoning was so great, because for those of you who don't know, for Daxamites, lead is supposed to be as deadly as kryptonite is for Kryptonians. Obviously, they don't make it as deadly, as he's able to walk around amongst potential lead all the time. However, I did like that it was affecting him, a bullet in the leg was affecting him much more so than it would even a normal human.
Right, like getting shot sucks, but for a Daxamite, it's like the worst. Right. Know? But it's like...
I found his one weakness. Bullets.
Getting shot. So that means... So he was sort of in a weakened state. It's not like he's... Is he normally bulletproof?
No, not normally. Not
so Mon-El's normally...
Like, I mean, I've seen episodes where he is, but those are episodes where he had received his lead antidote. Like, and then by episodes, I mean comics. There are comics where he is bulletproof after he's had, Superman / Boy, depending on the timeline and crisis continuity, has created a lead vaccine for him. A lot of time, the lead vaccine only works for 24 hours.
Really?
But the reason he's not normally bulletproof is because his weakness is lead.
So he can just get shot up. Now, if I'm Mon-El, I'm wearing Guardian's body armor all the time.
Well, I hope there's no lead in it.
Oh, yeah.
And we already know there is, because the mask was made of lead.
Mon-El, stop drinking that paint, but I love it.
That's very true. I will say at the very beginning, when Kara was thrown into jail, Cadmus jail with Mon-El, there was something that she was saying. She was saying that, you know, when she first got here, she felt so alone and all that.
Uh-huh.
And all I was thinking at that time was the whole point that they never bring up enough. Alex brought it up a few weeks ago, and I did love it. But it was, Kara, the reason you felt so alone when you first got here was because your cousin abandoned you. It took you almost a year to let your adopted mother hug you, and it was the first time you felt not alone since you got there. That's because your cousin abandoned you.
Because Clark ditched... Clark did a... ding dong ditch.
He did. I feel like that is not brought up enough. Like, that should be a major plot point in every Supergirl show. Like,
it would be a really nice wrinkle, because Superman is awesome, but it's like he did sort of just dump off, which is still true to the original comics.
Right.
First
thing Clark did, if you go back and listen to our Supergirl, the first appearance of Supergirl in the comic, she shows up. He's like, hey, I'm glad you're here. Hey, why don't we take you to an orphanage and not tell anyone you exist?
Yeah, like, you're cramping my style. I mean, I can't let Lois know about this.
I mean, at least here he did find her a real family to live with, as opposed to,
Yeah, I mean, it was...
orphanage.
The point is, Clark is like, I can't raise you because... I don't know, maybe Clark's like, hey, I can't be no dad.
Yeah, and you know what? That's even fine, but, man, like, be in her life... Don't just be, haven't seen you for a while.
Well, he's sort of like this cool, older, chronologically, whatever, cool, older cousin who lives in a different city.
But
who
why?
Doesn't have
why
time.
does he have to live in a different city?
Hey, Superman doesn't have time to visit Kara. He's faster than a speeding bullet, but come on.
Man.
He sent instant messages.
Yeah, he did send instant messages, that's true.
Something.
Speaking of family, we got a little bit more to see of Lena's mother in this, Mother Luther.
Yeah, actually, we were contemplating or debating even, never debating, but just wondering, is it Lex's birth mother? Was it like an adoptive mother, blood with Lena? I know. I felt like wondering, like, could this be something we haven't thought of? But no, this is just straight up
his birth mother,
which I think is really awesome and less confusing.
I do think it's really cool. I was just like, this is essentially this series Lionel in a way.
Yeah, very true.
Very different, very very different.
It's a different take. We haven't seen much of Lex's mom because Lex's mom
is normally dead.
And I think, I don't know about all of the incarnations, but most of them.
Most of them, they either died when he was young or he killed them.
Well, I don't know. She was at this. Did anybody at one point think she was actually dead at one point? Because Lena didn't seem to think so.
No.
So I think she's been around.
Yeah, she's been around.
Okay.
I do really hope they don't go the Lena Luthor being the evil Luthor on this. I just would love to have an incarnation of some sort of Supergirl, Superman, where the Luthor actually just ends up being a good person.
Lena looks kind of suspicious in the times we've seen her, but nothing really. To really make her evil.
They've definitely set it up so she could become the Luthor if they want her to. But hopefully she just continues to be, a good role model. I hope for young executives out there.
I hope she's good because I'm shipping Win and Lena hard.
Yeah,
Weena forever.
So speaking of that, we normally do talk about which romance is going to happen first officially. So
the Martians are off the table. I can tell you that much.
For the Martians seem to be off the table,
which is fine.
The Kara Mon-El romance kind of started tonight a little bit,
heating it up.
The Alex Maggie one it went over the speed bump it generated last week, so they've sort of set it up so that can happen.
Let's see who else besides Win and Lena forever. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think it's got to be Kara Mon-El on this sort of. The more Mon-El gets attached to Kara,
I think it's going to officially be Alex and Maggie first. I'm thinking
officially. I think I'll go ahead with that. I'll go ahead and just say it's going to be officially Maggie or Sandvers, as they're referred to on Twitter. But the more Mon-El expresses an interest in Kara, that makes me think the more Mon-El is going to go away at the end of the season.
Yeah. Earlier when you were talking about them using the blood for that, when it was the blood, they used the blood. Hank Henshaw used the blood to trick the Fortress into thinking he was Kara. I do have to say, I was so hoping, with it being a Luthor taking her blood, that we were going to see some sort of half Supergirl, half Luthor, like super boyish type thing.
Get a Connor Kent type of thing.
Get a I don't know what the. I was going to say some sort of a Supergirl, and I was like, oh, wait.
Some type of Supergirl, maybe? I know that sounds really weird.
Yeah. So, but then I was like, oh, all that blood, all that potential cloning ability gone.
Such a waste. Such a waste of clone blood.
We did get to see, I was going to say, we did get to see lots of explosions.
It was nice, like the Guardian fight scene.
The Martian fight scene. Like, there was just explosions all over the place. Like, I feel like the effects crew meant to order, like, two explosions, and they accidentally put 24.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, well, they shot these barrels, explosion.
Yeah, there was one point in the Guardian fight scene with the evil vigilante.
Yeah, and so that was, for those of you who don't know, that was Philip Karnowski from the comics. That is Barrage.
Barrage.
Yes.
I was trying to figure out who that was the entire episode. I know you got to be somebody.
That's Barrage. He's normally a Superman villain. He was on the Superman Revenge Squad. At least he was on the post-crisis Superman Revenge Squad.
Can I just say my squad goals are to be on the Superman Revenge Squad?
You know who else was a member of the Superman Revenge Squad?
Refresh my memory.
Superman.
It's like, you know what, guys? I've been a real pill.
It was the Last Sun storyline when General Zod and all his Kryptonians were attacking. Superman actually joined the Superman Revenge Squad to help fight Zod and all the other Kryptonians. It was a team up with him, like Parasite. Actually, now that I think about it, they've been having a lot of the villains from the Superman Revenge Squad.
Oh, I so want the Superman Revenge Squad. And actually call themselves the Superman Revenge Squad.
Well, it'll be the Supergirl for sure, since they've all their first appearances have been in this
Supergirl
universe.
Revenge Squad, even better.
Yeah, Supergirl Revenge Squad. That would be very interesting. Take Luthor was on it, so maybe we can have Lena Luthor or Mother Luthor.
Hey, who needs the Suicide Squad when you have the Supergirl Revenge Squad?
It is such a cool name.
Such an awesome, you don't have to guess. There's no guesswork there with what they're after. I love.
Nope.
There's no mystery.
That is for sure.
That's super awesome. But yeah, during the fight with Barrage and Guardian, there was like explosions happening for like no reason. I'm like,
yes.
What happened?
Same during the Martian fight too. There was a few explosions that happened. I will say my least favorite thing of the fight choreography between the Guardian and Barrage was the Guardian gets hit with the grenade, and what happens? His helmet falls off. I'm like, how is that even physically? Yeah. How is that? What are the physics behind that?
And James is flipping that helmet around. I'm like, shouldn't you pretend that weighs at least more than 1 ounce? We're supposed to believe that helmet can protect you from like bullets or something.
Right.
He's just flipping it around. It's lighter than air helmet. It's made out of plastic.
I did think there was some. So, well, I'm going to get into this one. I'll get into that in the Supes on section. So let's go to the powers used.
Powers used, no freeze breath, so it doesn't matter. No freeze breath.
No freeze breath.
No freeze. You got some... Yeah. Well, we saw some invulnerability a little bit, but we saw a lot of that taken away.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of invulnerability. We definitely saw... Did we see strength?
I mean, she attempted... Super strength was used, but it was quickly countered because when she punched Hank Henshaw...
Yeah, that's true. So we definitely saw super strength and invulnerability there.
Now, was that efficient use of powers? Because to Supergirl's knowledge, Hank was human, and she went full on, I'm going to knock your block off.
I disagree, because she did not go full on, I'm going to knock your block off, until he backhanded her way across the room, knowing that this is not a normal. And even if... So she knew that it was... okay at that point.
So she used super strength.
She also used invulnerability in that fight. Otherwise, she would have been beaten even more.
True. Okay.
She also used super speed to get there, shown on screen of her being in the harbor, zooming into the window. There you go.
We like it when powers appear on screen.
Yeah, we've talked about before how super speed is a lot of time just implied in this show as opposed to shown.
So that's flight as well.
Definitely heat vision.
Heat vision for sure.
Including the solar flare that we haven't seen since the Red Tornado episode, as they pointed out.
Pretty awesome.
There's another example of the DEO not being great. So apparently Mother Luthor knows about her solar flare thing from her fight with Red Tornado. Like, the only people that should know that is the DEO and perhaps the Army.
Maybe Max Lord, but whatever.
Maybe Max Lord. So I don't know who they got the information from. Maybe it wasn't the DEO. Maybe this time the weak point was the Army or Max Lord, who's now living in Canada off screen. We'll never know what happened to him. But anyway, we had heat vision, solar flare, flight, strength, and vulnerability, flight, and speed.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good list for one episode.
Pretty good list. Very efficient use of heat vision, of heating up pot stickers and things like that.
I love that. I love those scenes.
You know what? We're kind of glossing over the most awesome thing to have ever happened. Forgive me if we already mentioned it. I just forgot. But Jeremiah.
Oh my gosh, yes. We almost just went right past Dean Cain.
Dean Cain. I was so happy. My season is made. Love seeing Jeremiah Dean Cain coming back to television.
And I loved his interactions with Kara in this. I thought it was really good. It
was so nice.
I felt like he was my dad telling me he was proud of me. It was so good. And
I felt like it was Vandal Savage from Smallville saying he was proud of me.
It was my Superman from growing up.
Superman, Jeremiah Dean Cain still looks good.
Yeah.
Still looks good. He looks kind of buff. He looks bigger now.
Maybe we always get stronger in prison, working out.
Sure. And he's been hanging around Cadmus. I wonder, has he just been sneaking around for 15 years?
I like to think that he's really sort of grown accustomed to being able to get around, but he knows he can never truly leave, so he can get out of his cell at any time and all that.
Yeah. But
he just uses it to do minor... This is all in my head. I just like to think he's been doing minor sabotage to them throughout the years. And
like, that's the reason we haven't seen Cadmus full-on attack anybody.
Before now, because all his little minor projects. And now that they know he can escape, they now got him under real lock and key. So Kara and Alex will have to team up to go save him.
Oh, I'm so excited. I was so happy.
It'll be pretty good.
Like when we saw Hank Henshaw as the real Cyborg, I'm like, that makes sense, I guess, but it's not Jeremiah.
Right.
But we got him anyways.
We did.
So happy.
So we kind of already did our facts and stats with the whole Barrage, Superman Revenge Squad.
Yeah.
So I think we should get straight on into Supes On.
Okay, Supes On, and in case you don't know what that means, Supes On, whether something is Supes On or Supes Off, simply means, did it help or hurt the character? More specifically, did Kara... specifically, was she her own character, or was she just a clone of Clark Kent? Did she, if you thought Superman or Supergirl was boring before, did this change your mind? And in this episode, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about my final verdict as I was watching this episode. I was going back and forth. Like, man, what would you think? because I could see it from both angles. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I'm going to go with Supes off, even though real John McBride is a fanboy and think it's Supes on. But I'm playing devil's advocate for those of you who may not agree and say it was Supes off, with the reason being that, similar to previous reasons, that you saw Supergirl, maybe thought she's boring because she's too powerful. Well, you saw her depowered, and then she became really weak, you know what I mean? She was getting punched around, needed her dad's help and stuff like that. So I could see, if you thought Supergirl was boring because she's too powerful, that even depowered, she still sucks.
So I will completely disagree. This is
Okay.
probably one of my most Supes on episodes since the pilot, for the premiere episodes this season. So to me, Superman and Supergirl, the one thing they are all about is doing the right thing even when it's hard. And to me, I just felt like this episode really showed that. It showed a couple of times. One, when she's on her way to take out the Guardian, and Cadmus comes over the mysterious Kryptonian radio and basically says, "Hey, you need to come here now." And she does. Like, even though, I mean, there was no struggle on that one, and I will give you that. She just took off, did the right thing immediately. But when she was actually being held down there in the jail, and they basically tell her, "Hey, we need you to do this, your solar flare," and she's like, "Shh, I'm not doing that." They shoot Mon-El, and then you know that she doesn't want to do this. She's doing it because it's the right thing. She's literally risking her life. She's depowering herself to try to save somebody else, which to me is the inspirational thing to do. And then I think you got to see the struggle of the character at the end with Jeremiah when she doesn't want to leave without him. That's really hard. And you can tell that she misses him, that, you know, she's really concerned about what Alex would even think. It's not that, well, the right thing to do, you know, is to do this or do that. She doesn't know what the right thing to do is. And she struggled with it and made the hard decision. And that's the whole thing of what makes Superman and Supergirl great, is it's not that they always make the right decision. It's that they struggle and make the best decision they can, thus being inspirational to others to be able to make those same decisions. And
it was another strong performance from Mel.
Yeah.
Melissa. I'm her good personal friend. Yeah. I call her Mel. Melissa Benoist. A good performance by her.
It was a very, very strong performance. I think this was one of her stronger performances this entire season.
Yeah, and she's showing a lot of range. She can be funny, quirky, adorkable, as the kids say.
Yes.
And also just, like, she can flip the switch. Like, don't P.O. her.
No.
Or P her O.
I just thought it was a very strong performance. This was one of my most Supes on episodes ever, and now that you said it was Supes off, we are no longer friends.
I did say I was playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, that's what they all say. So next week we'll be having the episode Medusa, and that will be leading us into the big Alien Heroes versus Aliens 4-episode crossover event on the CW,
which we're really excited about. Very, very hyped.
I can't wait to see Supergirl and Diggle interact. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to the most.
That's gonna be amazing. I'm looking forward. I just want the entire crossover just be Diggle on the floor in the fetal position, can't cope or comprehend what's going on around him.
It would be funny. I'm very interested to see Supergirl, like, seeing all these other people. I'm interested to see, one of the things I'm really interested to see is Sarah and Supergirl interact, because Sarah Lance is so used to being the badass female hero.
Yeah.
And then now here's Supergirl, who's even more powerful.
It's like, oh.
Yeah. So we'll be here next week for that. We will be reviewing just Medusa next week, but then we'll also, the week after, we'll be doing a follow-up, doing a review of the whole crossover.
Sort of an expanded CW recap portion of Supes on Podcast.
And speaking of...
Oh, we got the CW recap.
Yeah.
Our pick of the week that isn't Supergirl.
That's right. So we had The Flash, where we had Shade and HR and Wally thinking he was Kid Flash.
Yeah, a fun episode. My favorite scene was the date night in the park with the movie night, and HR Wells would not, just violating the bro code so hard.
That was very fun. I did like, I've really kind of been liking Danielle Panabaker's arc more than I thought I would with the Killer Frost thing. Because at first I was like, oh, she doesn't want to become Killer Frost. She thinks it's inevitable. We'll see what's going to happen. But I think they really played it up in a way that made it more believable.
It's working out. And whether she remains evil or comes around, we don't know.
I hope not. I really do, but we'll see what happens. And then on Arrow, we had...
Vigilante.
One
of my faves. I love the Vigilante character. I thought he was so cool here, and the fight was awesome. Love that he isn't dead. Mm-hmm. Was liking that a lot.
I liked Wild Dog getting John's son and wife out there. Thought that was a pretty good side for him. I think it was good for that to be that character that did that. Yeah. To show that he wasn't just all Wild Dog.
Right, he's not that wild.
Right.
And Artemis in cahoots with Prometheus.
Yeah, we'll see where that leads. I was not expecting that. It's a very big twist for me.
Very shades of the Judas contract from the Teen Titans story from the 80s, so
and then,
very similar.
On Legends, we got Jonah Hex in the Wild Wild West again.
Return to the Wild Wild West. And
so much fun.
Good, fun episode. Hard to pick a favorite here.
Well, as you know, for me every week, it's not hard. It's Legends.
It's... I don't know. It's not Flash. I think Flash was ultimately the weakest of the three.
To me, with Legends, you having Mick in that bar, to me, you having... I loved Sarah and Hex's interactions. I loved, you can't be the captain, you're a woman. And then by the end, him oh, no, well, you're much better at being in charge than anybody else.
I think I'm actually going to go with Arrow this week.
So disappointing. Get on the Legends bandwagon.
If you continue on from last week, secretly you were on the Supernatural train. So.
Well, I haven't seen Supernatural from last week. I don't know about that one, but I did. I am very interested to see Legends on the crossover because they kind of implied at the end, you have to get back to 2016, and based off of a couple of things I might have seen online. It seemed to hint very strongly that the Legends might be in all parts of the crossover, which would be so amazing.
So much fun to see. I think those are the characters you want interacting. Citizen Steel just hanging around with Supergirl and Win and stuff not Win, but
And so I know how I think the only character from Supergirl that'd be in the crossover is gonna be Supergirl.
Who else do you need, honestly?
You don't really need anybody else for it. I will say, I think the reason I like Legends so much is, as I was saying earlier, I would love just a full hour of everybody hanging out. And I feel like about 20 to 30 minutes of each Legends is just different characters hanging out. Ray, Stein, and Jax's whole... or not Stein. Ray, Steele, and Jax's whole IRS tax assessor thing. And then going off to the mine and them having... we got these cool bandanas. It's he's lost his mind. Ha ha ha. I just love the fun goofing around.
If we can have a supercut of them just hanging out from the previous episodes, one of our Supes On faithful get to work on that and submit it to us at supesonpodcast@gmail.com.
It would be so awesome. So everybody, don't forget about the contest. Please go rate and review us on iTunes. Leave an email address you don't mind others being able to see on there. We're going to just count the number that we have, use a random number generator to choose a winner, and we'll get in contact with you. You can win Supergirl Season 1 on Blu-ray. There's some deleted scenes on there, some gag reels, some Comic-Con panels. It's pretty cool. John, anything?
I just want a lot of people to rate and review. Get on board with this awesome giveaway contest. Rate and review us on iTunes, and also follow us on Twitter at Supes On Podcast, at Supes On Podcast on Instagram as well. We're on Tumblr, iHeartRadio. We're on Overcast, Spreaker.
I don't even know what Overcast is. All right.
We have some listeners on Overcast, so great, awesome Overcast people, whatever that is. We appreciate you.
We do. Well, thank you for joining us, and tune in next week for Supergirl Season 2, Episode 8, Medusa.